happens. For 33 hours, I was praying that if this had to happen.
About this suspect, we have a name to tell you, and this is according to multiple sources and our team of reporters covering federal law enforcement, Tom Winter, Mike Cosner, our colleagues. Tyler Robinson.
Stop what you're doing. Because what I'm about to reveal isn't just another headline. It's the unraveling of a story that could redefine how we think about political power, betrayal, and modern-day warfare. Charlie Kirk didn't just die on a college campus. He was hunted. He was tracked. And he was taken out, in what the FBI now believes was a contract kill. This wasn't random violence. This wasn't some lone wolf with a grudge. This was an operation. A sniper. A $100,000 crypto transfer. And now, a chilling confession from the man behind the trigger. But here's the part that will freeze your blood. Federal investigators believe someone close to Charlie may have helped set it up. An insider. A traitor. A ghost within his circle. So how did a rising conservative star end up assassinated in broad daylight, with a digital money trail, a burned manifesto, and encrypted messages pointing to a much darker force? Strap in. Because the deeper we dig into the FBI's latest leaks, the more we realize Charlie Kirk didn't just die for what he believed in. He died because someone paid for silence. And now, that silence is broken. It was supposed to be another stop on his American comeback tour. A warm September afternoon. Utah Valley University. Students, faculty, and media filled the event center, buzzing with anticipation. Charlie Kirk, conservative firebrand, podcast giant, and founder of Turning Point USA, stepped onto the stage with the energy of a man on a mission. But before his second sentence even finished, a single, distant crack shattered everything. Charlie stumbled. Then dropped. Panic erupted. Screams echoed. People scattered. Security froze, some diving, others rushing forward, but it was already too late. Charlie Kirk had been shot, in front of a live audience, with cameras rolling, and witnesses watching from every angle. The shooter? Nowhere in sight. The bullet? Fired from over 200 yards away. Authorities locked down the campus immediately. Helicopters, drones, and SWAT teams swarmed the area. And by sunset, federal agents had already zeroed in on one name, Tyler Robinson, 22 years old. He wasn't a familiar face. He wasn't on any watch list. And he had no known ties to Charlie Kirk. But within hours, he was in custody. At first, the narrative was simple. A crazed gunman. A lucky break in the investigation. And a country in mourning. But behind the scenes, something didn't sit right. Because the deeper the FBI dug, the more they realized. This wasn't just a shooting. It was a statement. And the evidence left behind? It was about to crack the case wide open. The arrest came fast, almost too fast. When Tyler Robinson was taken into custody, agents already had a disturbing head start. Just yards away from the sniper's rooftop perch, they found the weapon, a bolt-action hunting rifle, wrapped tightly in a towel. Not wiped. Not hidden. Just left, as if waiting to be found. Crime scene forensics wasted no time. DNA from sweat and skin cells on the towel matched Robinson. A screwdriver left on the rooftop near the firing point, used, investigators believe, to dislodge roof panels for line of sight. Same thing. Robinson's DNA, clear as day. But the strangest clue wasn't left at the scene. It was found miles away, in the ashes of a backyard fire pit. After scouring Robinson's home, agents noticed fresh char. Inside the burn pile, scraps of paper, mostly destroyed, fused together by melted ink and scorched wood chips. But one small fragment survived, just enough for a lab tech to notice familiar handwriting. It read, "I have the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk. No return address. No signature. Just intent. Pure and chilling. But here's the twist. Even with the gun, the DNA, and the ominous note, there was no manifesto. No viral post. No video. No live stream. No explanation. Robinson didn't speak a word after his arrest. No rage-filled rant. No ideological meltdown. Just silence. To the public, it looked like an open and shut case. But to the FBI, that silence started to sound a lot like a contract. And they were right. Because what happened next didn't just reshape the investigation. It shattered everything they thought they knew about why Charlie Kirk was killed. For days, Robinson said nothing. Then, during an 11-hour interrogation session, he cracked. And what he confessed didn't just shock the agents in the room. It lit a fuse under the entire FBI case. Robinson admitted that just one day before the shooting, a large, anonymous cryptocurrency deposit hit his digital wallet. Not $1,000. Not $10,000. But exactly $100,000. And it wasn't hidden deep in some offshore puzzle, not at first. The deposit appeared in a popular crypto exchange, then jumped through a known obfuscation service, what the FBI calls a mixer, before landing in Robinson's private wallet. The payment was tagged with just 3 haunting words. Final contract, execute. FBI blockchain forensics quickly verified the trail. The transaction was real, time-stamped, and deliberate. It wasn't weeks in advance. It wasn't part of a pattern. It was sudden. Targeted. A digital final green light. But that wasn't all. Investigators discovered Robinson's phone had been wiped clean just hours after the shooting, an amateur attempt to hide a trail he didn't fully understand. What he didn't know. Wiping a phone doesn't erase everything. Using cyberforensic tools, the FBI extracted residual metadata, digital footprints left behind like shadows on pavement. And what they found changed everything. On encrypted messaging apps like Signal, Telegram, and Wickr, Robinson had received a string of short, cryptic messages in the days leading up to the hit. Target confirmed. Funds ready. You know what to do. And then, chillingly, a GPS pin of Utah Valley University's exact event center was sent to him 3 days before the shooting. This wasn't passion. This wasn't ideology. This was a contracted operation, plain and simple. Someone out there sent the money. Sent the instructions. And sent Tyler Robinson to carry them out. The shooter had a price. And someone, somewhere, was willing to pay it. But who? That's when agents started asking a question no one wanted to face. What if the answer was closer than they thought? By now, the case had already taken a sinister turn. But when FBI cyberforensics recovered fragments of Robinson's encrypted chats, it became clear. This wasn't some vague ideological plot. This was a mission, sent, tracked, and confirmed through code words and satellite pins. The messages were tight, clinical, and terrifyingly specific. UTVAL ready. Thursday locked. No errors this time. Watch the drop, not the crowd. Make it count. Each line was time-stamped. Each sender profile deleted within seconds after delivery. The accounts had no usernames, Just one-letter aliases like R and X, all bouncing between burner networks and anonymous proxies. But the smoking gun? A Google Maps pin, showing the exact location of Charlie Kirk's stage appearance, sent 3 days before the event. That single digital breadcrumb blew apart any last doubts. This wasn't a coincidence. This wasn't impulse. This was strategic planning, executed with chilling precision. Investigators now believe Robinson had been studying the layout of the venue, monitoring entry points, sniper lines, and escape routes, all based on instructions sent via encrypted chats. And even more disturbingly, one of the messages, decoded through metadata extraction, included a blurry image. Zoom-enhanced by FBI analysts, it showed the inside of the Utah Valley University Event Center, days before the stage was even built. Someone had eyes inside. Someone had access. Someone helped. Robinson may have pulled the trigger. But the blueprint? That came from elsewhere, from someone with insider knowledge. And something far bigger to protect. And that terrifying realization led the FBI to its next move. Start investigating Charlie Kirk's inner circle. Because if the blueprint came from the inside, then Charlie wasn't just targeted. He was set up. As the encrypted blueprint came into focus, federal agents hit a disturbing wall. Too many details. Too much access. Too much precision. How did Tyler Robinson know exactly where Charlie would be standing? How did he know there'd be a clear line of sight? And most importantly, how did he know when security would be at its weakest? There was only one explanation that made sense. Someone close to Charlie Kirk helped him. Sources inside the FBI now confirm that the investigation has quietly expanded, not just to trace foreign actors or online extremists, but to probe Charlie's own inner circle. According to leaks, a shortlist of 3 individuals is currently under surveillance. While names have not been made public, insiders say these individuals all had access to Charlie's private schedule, knowledge of the stage layout at Utah Valley University, and in one case, admin credentials for internal event logistics. It's the possibility no one wanted to believe, but couldn't ignore. A leak from inside Turning Point USA. And the theories? They're growing fast. Some insiders whisper about fractured relationships inside the organization. Power struggles. Ego clashes. Tension over the direction of the movement. And one chilling suggestion. Charlie was becoming too powerful, too unpredictable. Others have floated an even darker possibility. Foreign influence. Could an outside group have flipped someone close to Charlie? Used them to feed intel into a larger operation? Blackmail, money, ideology, or a mix of all 3? Even supporters closest to the investigation admit they're shaken. Because if someone within his own ranks gave Robinson the tools, then Charlie Kirk didn't just walk into a sniper's path. He was led there. And whoever was behind it knew exactly what they were doing. As public outrage soared and the conspiracy grew louder, all eyes turned to the man in charge. FBI Director Kash Patel. Facing mounting backlash over the investigation's early missteps, Patel took to the airwaves, appearing live on Fox and Friends in a rare, unscripted interview. His tone? Uneasy. Defensive. And, for the first time, openly shaken. I can report today that the DNA hits from the towel and the screwdriver are confirmed, he said. But more importantly, we are now treating this as a contract killing. The admission sent shockwaves across media outlets. After days of silence and public speculation, the FBI director had finally said what many feared. Charlie Kirk was not the victim of random violence. He was the target of a paid hit. But that wasn't all. Patel also admitted that the first wave of leaks misled the public, including the arrest of an initial suspect, a student activist, who was released within hours after being wrongly profiled. "I may have jumped the gun," Patel confessed. "But now, we're jumping on the truth. The damage was already done." Critics blasted the FBI for its rushed response. Lawmakers from both sides demanded accountability. And Patel, now under fire, was summoned to appear in a closed-door session before Congress. Insiders say the briefing will include unreleased evidence from the Signal and Telegram forensics, as well as the full interrogation transcript of Tyler Robinson, a document reportedly over 200 pages long. But behind the politics, one thing was becoming clear. The FBI wasn't in control of the narrative anymore. The truth was leaking faster than they could contain it. And if what came next was as explosive as the $100,000 payment, then even the Bureau's highest ranks wouldn't walk away untouched. Because this wasn't just a breakdown in intelligence. This was a collapse in trust. Buried beneath the layers of crypto transactions, encrypted orders, and internal betrayal, the FBI uncovered something raw. Intent. And it came from the fire pit. When agents sifted through the scorched remains behind Tyler Robinson's home, they didn't expect much. The paper was charred. The ink melted. Most of it had turned to black dust. But what survived, barely, painted a disturbing picture. Using a combination of chemical analysis and handwriting matching, forensic teams confirmed that several fragments came from a notepad inside Robinson's own home office. The phrases recovered? "This ends now. Kirk dies for the cause. They will thank me later." But here's the most terrifying part. The note was written before the crypto payment arrived. That one timeline detail flipped the entire narrative again. Because while the $100,000 payment confirmed a contract killing, the burned note proved Robinson was already radicalized. The money didn't inspire him. It enabled him. He was already walking toward the edge. Someone out there just gave him the final push, and paid him to jump. And for investigators, this changed everything. They were no longer dealing with just a hired gun. They were staring down a volatile cocktail of ideology, manipulation, and money, mixed inside the mind of a young man trained to obey, not question. It also raised a chilling new question. Was Robinson the only one being paid to stay silent? Or just the first one to break? The bullet was cheap. The rifle, secondhand. But the message? Priceless. And someone out there paid 6 figures to deliver it. According to sources inside the Bureau, the $100,000 crypto payment didn't just appear out of thin air. It was traced, step by encrypted step, through a network of offshore accounts, anonymizing tools, and digital laundering platforms designed to bury the truth. The origin? A cryptocurrency wallet based in the Seychelles, a known haven for shady shell corporations and unregulated financial traffic. From there, the money was passed through at least 4 mixer services, online tools that scramble crypto transactions to hide who's sending what. But no system is perfect. FBI crypto analysts found digital breadcrumbs, fragments of past transactions connected to the same wallet, and what they revealed was disturbing. One previous transaction was linked to a now-defunct darknet forum known for hosting anti-conservative propaganda, violent manifestos, and digital bounties placed on public figures. Another was tied to a whistleblower platform that was shut down by U.S. intelligence last year after investigators found it had been compromised by foreign state actors posing as activists. And then there was the third link. A mysterious domain name that briefly went live weeks before the shooting. Its name? Silent Red. Net. Now completely wiped. No cached pages. No owner history. Just a blank shell sitting in the void. But for the FBI's cybercrime unit, it was enough. They now believe this payment wasn't the act of a lone extremist. It was part of something bigger, a coordinated digital network with resources, reach, and a very clear objective: to eliminate a high-profile political figure without ever leaving fingerprints. Even more chilling? Intelligence briefings suggest that this wasn't Silent Red's first operation. In fact, one classified memo reportedly lists dozens of targets under surveillance, with Charlie Kirk marked as Priority 1. If that's true, then we're not just looking at a hired shooter. We're looking at the possible beginning of a domestic black ops network, run through crypto wallets, encrypted apps, and insiders willing to leak information for the right price. And if Silent Red is real, Charlie Kirk may not be their last hit. Long before the shot was fired, Charlie Kirk may have already known he was being watched. Those closest to him are now coming forward with stories that, at the time, felt strange, but in hindsight, feel like chilling premonitions. According to one senior aide, just 2 days before the Utah event, Charlie said something that now feels impossible to ignore. If something happens to me, don't let them control the story. At the time, it was brushed off as paranoia. But now, that one sentence reads like a warning from a man who felt the walls closing in. Staff members say Charlie had grown noticeably tense in the days leading up to the tour stop. He avoided public appearances, canceled a podcast taping, and even requested a last-minute review of his personal security protocols. One email, timestamped the night before the event, shows Charlie had scheduled a meeting with a private intelligence firm, set to happen the day after his Utah speech. The agenda? Threat review. Internal audit. Event exposure risk. That meeting never happened. Because just hours later, he was dead.